Welcome back to the SE Cupp Show. I'm joined now by Dave Bego, who is author of The Devil at My Doorstep. It's a really interesting new book. Now, you are not some investigative journalist or a pundit. This comes from a very personal place. Tell me how you came to write this book.
Well, the SEIU back in 2005 decided to organize the janitors in the Midwest. And our company, along with others, was targeted.
Your company is EMS, which is involved in sort of environmental workplace maintenance.
Right. We operate in 37 states and have about 5,000 employees.
Okay.
And they targeted the Midwest, and what it is, it's forced unionism. It's not about having a secret ballot election. It's like the Employee Free Choice Act, card check, that they've tried to pass.
Right.
And they came to me, and they wanted me to sign a neutrality agreement. And I said, I haven't seen one yet. So they give me one,
right,
and I read it, and it takes away the secret ballot election, puts a gag order on the employer, speeds up contract negotiation, plus you have to give them a list of all your employees and their home addresses. And I told them, look, I'll have an election. If you guys win, I'll live with it. If you lose, leave us alone.
Right.
But I'm not going to sign that agreement because it's morally wrong.
Yes.
And they looked at me and they said, Mr. Bego, we enjoy conversation, but we embrace confrontation. We're going to attack you, your friends, your employees, your customers.
Did they actually tell you that?
Absolutely. They did it at lunch in downtown Indianapolis, and my attorney was sitting there.
Wow, I mean, and you've said, you know, it was a nasty, ugly, 3-year, $1 million war I did not ask for, but had to win.
Yeah, and I get a little emotional about this
Sure.
because of the things that they did to my employees and my customers and that. And I looked at it that America is a place of freedom, free choice. And employees should have a free choice without intimidation. Right. And we took them on. We withstood about actually almost a 5-year battle. Right. And we won. We figured out how to beat them. And it's good for our employees today because they make more money than the union people in town. Yeah. And have the same benefits and not pay union dues. So
you, in The Devil at My Doorstep, you recount your battle with Andy Stern and the SEIU, and that includes some really horrific flyers and intimidation practices, which you brought in, and we'll put up on full screen for our viewers. Tell me what's happening in this one, for example.
Well, this one in November of 2007, or October, Halloween, they had little kids trick-or-treating in our neighborhood. Cute little kids. They came to my door.
Right.
And they'd get the candy, and then the little girl stood there shaking. And she had these rolled up in her hand. And I said, is that for me? And she says, yes. And I took it, and you see it. It's a house of horrors where EMS janitors are intimidated every night.
That's your company, right?
That's my company.
Right.
And then I look up, and you know they're doing this all up and down the streets, and they've got union organizers and cars running up down the street. Yeah.
And basically what it says is janitors who clean Market Tower and other prominent indie buildings for EMS face unsafe working conditions. So basically they were trying to make people in that neighborhood think that you somehow didn't care about your employees.
Well, yeah, that plus they're psychologically trying to destroy me and get me to capitulate.
To fold.
Yeah, and sign the agreement. And our neighbors were terrified. And
well, of course. Why wouldn't they be? This is terrifying. Now, what's happening here, SEIU and clergy at Market Tower?
Well, the clergy one is a very interesting story. The SEIU, when they organize and do these corporate campaigns, is what they call them.
Yes.
They have clergy recruited through the Interfaith Workers Justice Group out of Chicago. And they get clergy from the local area to come in and help support the campaign. And in this particular instance, the clergy was outside the building and was chanting and that, and then they blockaded the doors so people couldn't get in and out and were hauled off to jail.
Wow.
These clergy, give you a quick story.
Yeah.
They wanted to meet with me. And so I met with them and my daughter, and there was 8 of them there, and I walked in the room, and before I could sit down, they said, we want you to be neutral. I said, I am.
Just like that.
Yeah, I'm neutral. I mean, I've told them, let's have an election. Which way it goes,
right,
I'll do it.
Right.
And they said, no, Mr. Bego, you don't understand. We want you to sign a neutrality agreement. I said, have you ever read a neutrality agreement? And the clergyman says, no. I said, why would you want me to sign it? Mm-hmm. He says, because we want you to be union. So I asked the next person, a Catholic priest, and I happen to be Catholic, I said, Father, you understand, we treat our people well. We have state-of-the-art equipment supplies because we have our own supply company. We try to do the best things we can for them and that. Why would you want us to do this? And he says, Mr. Bego, we don't care about the facts. All we care about is that you're a union. We want you to sign this agreement.
Wow. That's unbelievable, especially today when, you know, I mean, we've all been following what's been going on in Madison, and I was actually just in Wisconsin. Especially today when you have, it's so open, this sort of union thuggery. To be so brazen with you is really, I think, a show of just how arrogant these people are and how used to getting their own way that they are.
Well, that's right, and the problem is they know that, you know, they've got friends in the National Labor Relations Board,
Right.
NLRB, and they can get away with a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And because of it, they just do what they please.
Well, and people get intimidated. As you said, I'd be called deceitful, greedy, anti-union, and downright evil as noisy demonstrations and protests began popping up at buildings where we managed maintenance. Here's another one. What's happening here?
Well, this is right off Monument Circle in downtown Indianapolis, and they held a big rally because they weren't winning with us, and they were trying to get, again, me to capitulate. You know, it's psychological. And if you see it on there, it says "Shame on." That's one of their favorite slogans. You can see it in Madison and other places. You'll see it, the "Shame on" whoever it is.
Right.
And you know, they had the building almost sealed off all the way around downtown. Same tactics that you see in Madison.
It's a smear campaign.
It is.
And it's designed to run you out of business. It's designed to silence you and hopefully convince you not to write a tell-all book about what happened. But that didn't work on you, did it?
No, it didn't, because I looked at it and I said, you know, we've got to do the right thing. We've got to protect employers and employees across the country. And I was appalled at all the different things that they did. How they intimidated my employees. You know, when they came out of work at night, they'd hound them and bribe them and follow them to their cars and hold their car doors shut. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And I felt like I have to expose what's going on and wake America up.
Right. Well, and we're glad you did. The book is The Devil at My Doorstep. It's full of crazy firsthand accounts of what's going on with the SEIU and how this affected your business, your family, your town, your employees personally. You can pick it up. You can also go to thedevilatmydoorstep.com. Dave Bego, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate it.
We'll be back after this.